Welcome to the C-Suite Sherpa podcast. I'm your host, Brian Marshall, and we have a great guest here today. We focus on interesting and fascinating resources that really serve the C-Suite. So if you're a C-Suite owner of a business, or if you're looking for resources, you're in the right place. Today's guest is Nancy. So Nancy, tell us about your business and a little bit of who you work with and what you do.
Thank you, Brian. I'm Nancy Geenen. I'm the CEO of Flexibility, and it's Flexibility with an A. Our main business is helping leaders build high-performing teams with an equity lens. We work with privately held companies who have a growth mindset but feel stuck or frustrated. Most of that is learning about who your team is and how to communicate better with them.
That's awesome. So you mentioned an equity lens. For those listening that don't quite know what that means, can you tell us a little bit about that?
We're making a transition right now from talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion to really talking about equity in terms of systemic change. Many people have seen the cartoon of looking over the fence at the baseball, and fairness is giving everyone the same tool, the same box. Equity is really understanding who your team players are and giving them the tools that they need to thrive uniquely.
Got it. Yeah, I'm glad I asked because that equity, when you're talking about business, immediately I'm thinking about ownership equity. And so I'm glad that you distinguish the difference between that.
Yes.
Get into the privately held businesses. There are lots of privately held businesses out there. What's going on in the life of a privately held business owner that would cause someone to say, "Hey, I think I need Nancy's help"?
I think it goes back to the leadership team, the C-suite, who are feeling stuck. They're feeling frustrated. They can't get over that hump. One of the things we do, either through executive coaching, working solely with the CEO, or working with the C-suite leadership team, that can go down to senior managers and directors. Actually getting in and unpacking where the stuckness is and trying to figure out what's in the way, what barriers. Business is about people. And when we really get every person on the team recognizing how they contribute, why they're important, they move towards being 100% aligned on where they're going. That's kind of the mission piece, but also how they're going to get there. Knowing those two things together and having a team aligned, all of a sudden the 157 issues that come up start to get unpeeled. It's just pulling away the layers of the onions to really understand what's in the way. Sometimes it's people, sometimes it's training, sometimes it's core values, and really getting those things unpacked so that as goes the leadership team, so goes the rest of the company. We unpack it at the leadership level, really teach them good communication skills and self-awareness about who they are as leaders and who their team is, so that some of the personality pieces don't get in the way of the behavior pieces.
You make it sound easy. That's a mouthful. I mean, that's years of work. So I'm guessing you probably use some tools. How do you capture their strategy and get the team aligned? How are you keeping the team on track? Is there a particular tool that you use or a set of tools? Tell us about that.
So different teams require different tools. We use Patrick Lencioni, the 5 dysfunctions of a team. We use the entrepreneurial operating system. I'm a professional implementer. I've been doing it for quite a while, and all my successful companies have run on EOS. We use predictive index. We use good facilitation tools, which sometimes are just getting people to really see who they are. There's a lot of organizational behavior and neuropsychology tools that we use. But you're right, Brian. It's easy to say, it's simple, but it's really hard work. And that's why we need those teams to really be growth mindset. They have to want to adapt. One of the things that often we see with teams is they think of Darwin's strongest, loudest, biggest. The Darwin code is actually the most adaptable, who survive and thrive. And that's where we really want to see teams that want to get better.
That's a great point. And you and I both know, because we've been doing this for a while, that the leaders bring us in, they say, "Fix my team." But it starts with the leader. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how you engage with leadership and how they need to set the example for what their team should do?
Well, I have a trick when I was a trial attorney and a prosecutor. With my witnesses or corporate representatives, I have this ability to reach under their rib cage and grab their heart. And sometimes I tickle, and sometimes I massage. Those are usually one-on-one learning opportunities that just happen between asking clarifying questions around what does success look like for you? And really getting that leader to have some introspection. Some leaders like to journal, some like to whiteboard, some just like to what I call vomit on the page. And once we get that conversation going and really start to get at what's your goal? What does success really look like for you as an individual? Do you want to be command and control leader? Do you want to be a consensus leader? Do you want to be something in between where you act as a coach and bring out the best skill sets of the players you have on your team?
Yeah, sometimes simple questions followed by silence are the most powerful tools. I'll ask my clients before they become clients, what do you want to have happen?
Yeah.
And then just shut up and listen. Sometimes they have to think about it. It really forces them. A lot of people deal with things when they become a crisis, but they don't really know what they want. They just know what they don't want. Moving away from what you don't want loses its power the more you move away from it. Whereas if you're moving towards something you really want, it becomes more powerful as you get there. I'm really not sure if there was a question in there. I guess I was just.
Yeah, I'll just follow up when we think about that in terms of an EOS example we use. The sun has billions of kilowatts of energy and it feels warm, but it's diffuse. A leader who just wants to be warmed by the sun is going 1,000 different directions versus that laser focus, which has the same strength in billions of kilowatts, but has this ability to just focus on one thing. And where we really see the change, especially in the leader, the visionary, the CEO, the founder, is when the question becomes not what we can possibly do in this wide universe of activities, but what are we going to say no to?
Right.
How are we going to use no as the guardrails or the parameters to help the team stay focused? The beauty of founders and entrepreneurs, visionaries, we have 1,000 ideas. It's up to the rest of the team to build that trust to say, that's the one. Let's do that and get everybody behind it. And then the execution is where the magic is.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's shift gears. One last question about just in general, where do you see things going? What do you see as the biggest challenge that your clients are going to have to overcome over the next couple of years, maybe going out 5 years? And then how are you going to help them stay ahead of the curve?
I think the general challenge is not to be seen as a commodity where choices are made merely by price. That doesn't change whether we're talking 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2030. The real challenge is to become that client delight, go to get it done vendor. And it's the people there. If your people are 100%, if they love their jobs, if they love working in the culture of the company, they're going to love the customers and the customers are going to love them back. And that shift from being a commodity, which probably every service or product is, to being that trusted partner who just is really great at understanding the client needs and being able to figure out how to serve them well.
Yeah, that's an excellent observations on your part. So let's shift. Speaking of shifting, let's shift gears and go to the lightning round where we're going to ask some quick questions and get some quick answers.
I'm ready.
Ready to roll?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, black.
How about cats or dogs?
Dogs.
If you can only grab one item during the zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
My dog. This dog.
What kind of dog do you have? What kind of dog?
The two dogs. The old one is a Labradoodle first generation, and she is trained as a service dog for low hearing. And then the second one is just getting trained into the take over the service role, and she's Aussie Doodle, but she's 10 pounds. The older one is 50.
I love doodles.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
It's a quote by Indira Gandhi, to be still in the midst of activity and vibrantly alive in repose.
How about a favorite movie?
Any Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I love
I
that.
hummed that theme song all through law school.
That's a great series.
Yeah.
How about a streaming series? Do you have a streaming series that you like to watch?
I would watch NCIS and all of its various progeny all day long. I start at the beginning and work my way through the 20 plus seasons regularly.
That's favorite book that you'd recommend.
Oh, that's tougher. I read voraciously. The book I'm loving right now is by Fawn Weaver, which is the journey about Uncle Nearest and Nearest Green and Jack Daniels. I honestly can't remember the name of it, but it's Fawn Weaver, her story about making Nearest Green uh, whiskey and separating from Jack Daniels is spectacular.
Bucket list item that you've accomplished already.
I have fly fished in over 25 different countries. I've played golf in most of those. Bucket list, what do I have left to do? I think I want to go fly fishing in South America. That's my big one to get into Patagonia and do a different kind of fishing altogether.
So that would be a bucket list item you plan on accomplishing.
Yeah.
Last question, biggest obstacle that you've ever had to personally overcome, and what's one big takeaway from that experience?
It's the same obstacle. I've been fired from some really good jobs, and the obstacle really is hubris. I thought I was doing great, and I was getting ready for the next promotion instead of paying attention to what I was supposed to be doing in the moment.
Well, you passed the test. Good job.
Thank you.
There are no wrong answers. It's the best kind of test. Thanks for being a good sport and going along with that. So if someone here is looking at this going, hey, I think I need to meet Nancy. What's the best way for people to reach out to you, connect with you?
I think I'm very good at email, which is Nancy Geenen at flexibility.com. I'm also on LinkedIn as NJ Geenen. I have the pleasure of being named after both my mother and my father. I didn't become Nancy Geenen until after my mom died, but usually unfindable.
There you go. We'll make sure we post it on our YouTube page. We have a channel that all these podcasts are posted on. In the description, if you're watching the video, check below. You'll see Nancy's contact information. So don't worry if you didn't get that. Nancy, it's been great to get to know you. I feel like I could talk to you all day. You've got an awesome, comforting personality. And there's another side to you as a prosecutor that I would not want to mess with.
I have that evil twin who lives inside my heart.
Yeah,
But
well,
Brian, thank you.
Thanks for being a guest. And we look forward to hearing more from you in the near future.
Thank you.